cocktail party. The last time I saw my father alive, he was on his way to a cocktail party, wearing a tie that was much too businesslike for a cocktail party. Just like the time he went to a rock and roll concert and his mother made him wear a three-piece suit. He was carrying a deep blue pot full of stew, and I said, "Didn't you say this was a cocktail party?" And he said, "I don't think anyone would say no to free stew." So I helped him strap the large pot into the passenger's seat of his car, while his date, a thin woman from his office, climbed into the back with her shawl. I stayed in that night and washed the dishes from dinner, his salad of cheeses and mandarin oranges. I got the call the next morning. The thin woman's shawl had been stolen, and my father had stepped onto a fire truck moments before it raced to a fire. He was presumed dead, but one young man had seen him carrying armfuls of potted plants from the burning building, which, with the sounds of dogs and women howling, appeared to be levitating. I think I'm going to read a poem that's not from my book, but it's an origin story. So maybe I'll do that for you right now. Origin myth number 5. On the day I was born, I received a paper cut from a nurse's magazine, and I bled very heavily. Fortunately, I did not incur an infection. Fortunately, I did not sustain a scar. Unfortunately, my mother did very thoroughly worry for me and would never again, she decided, bring a child into the world via hospital. And so it was in this way that my parents took themselves with me to France, where the old women come to people's houses to take babies from the mother's bodies and hand them over to the father's bodies, sometimes kneeling or standing nearby. Later on, I became a circus clown, but my family never speaks of it, as ruined as I looked, wearing only a bow tie. I have a right to my preferences, and may present them, if itemized, before the board of directors. I know that being part of human, I know that part of being human is deferring to the experts. If I was not supervised by a parental bureaucracy, you would lose me to the opium dens. For I have heard that the philosophy of the East is a more peaceful one. Yet, in the West, it's said, if our lives were meant to be peaceful, why did the Lord give us fingernails to chew on? With our teeth, humans are only allowed to resolve intrapersonal conflicts, and I'm thankful for it. My conflicts with myself keep me from flying in the face of strangers on the street, unlike the man in Kafka's story who would snatch a woman's handbag on a crowded train, rather than go home to his wife's face, to which he was indifferent. Disrespectful poem. I brought my students a poem about rape, and they said they were surprised I disrespected them in that way, making them read the word fuck so many times. I thought I was respecting them by letting them read a poem that said, I won't let you fuck me again, because I assumed that some of them had been fucked by people they never wanted to be fucked by, not just again, but ever. I thought I was telling them they could say no, and say so loudly in the language that fuckers understand. That's based on a true story, that poem. My students were 70 and 80-year-olds at in a memoir writing class downtown in a Presbyterian church.
That didn't make it to the poem, huh?
Nah. Oh man, I didn't even pay attention to time when I... Are you looking at the time, Nick?
You're like 20 minutes over.
Oh, I don't even know. We'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Leisure Hannah does not agree with you. My house disgusted me, so I slept in a tent. My tent disgusted me, so I slept in the grass. The grass disgusted me, so I slept in my body, which I strung like a hammock from 2 ropes. My body disgusted me, so I carved myself out of it. My use of knives disgusted me because it was an act of violence. My weakness disgusted me because Hannah means hammer. The meaning of my name disgusted me because I'd rather be known as beautiful. My vanity disgusted me because I am a scholar. My scholarship disgusted me because knowledge is empty. My emptiness disgusted me because I wanted to be whole. My wholeness would have disgusted me because to be whole is to be smug. Still, I tried to understand wholeness as the inclusiveness of all activities. I walked out into the yard trying to vomit and drink milk simultaneously. I tried to sleep while smoking a cigar. I have enough regrets to crack all the plumbing. I'm whole only in that I've built my person from every thought I've ever loved. Do you think like 2 more? 2 more is good? Is that? Sure. This guy says yeah. I don't even know. His name is Matt. I met him before the show. Okay, here's a poem I wrote. Somewhere Golden. One woman said, "Clean yourself up with a cocktail napkin." So here I am in the bathroom. Sounds of the party. Sounds of one man pretending he gets the joke. Oh, he gets the joke. He just didn't think it was very funny. I can understand that man. The bones of Tom's hands made a fist and told my nose a joke, which is to say he hit me. The resulting laughter was quiet but well sustained. People decorate their bathrooms like, I would rather be at the beach than in this bathroom. I'd rather be watching swans mate for life. Well, not actually mating. Okay, actually mating. You can hardly tell what's going on. Unlike pornography, or unlike a wedding ceremony, or no, the wedding ceremony is more like swans. I thought I was just watching 2 people hold hands in front of a candle. The people deciding to wear flowers in the winter, disrespectful of what the world, bigger than us, said we could wear or eat, like the asparagus hors d'oeuvres insisted it was a good time to feel like it was summer. At the wedding, I was quiet. At the party, I was quiet until Tom found me offensive. The homeowners long ago had decided I'd rather be somewhere golden than in this bathroom. Outside, the sounds of people making promises, or rather hushing a room to condone the most public of promises made in front of a candle. When I'm all cleaned up, I'll find, if he was invited, the man who played the organ, or the priest who wears soft shoes so he doesn't disturb the Holy Spirit's resting in the rafters when he walks through the resting cathedral, stooping at times to pick up flowers. So now it's kind of hard because I have to decide what poem to read to you last. There's a meaner one, and there's a nicer one. I'll read the nicer one. But you can buy my book and find the meaner one. There's maybe more than just one meaner one. The stories I tell do not have endings. Because clouds, deserts, and viruses do not end, nor do they understand that all we humans can do is squeal in our kitchens at the sight of the real survivors, the cockroaches who can live for up to 3 years on a raisin. Time for them goes so slowly. And for me also, said my grandmother, who was tired of us all. We're sorry, we often said to her face and body, buried with her back to us under an afghan. Though a teacher once told me that women should never apologize and that weakness wears a kind face. Once I thought I wanted to be a peacemaker, but then I saw I hadn't thought things through well enough. For I love how a sharp word cuts its way out of my mouth, and the peacemakers don't get to sweat enough. A cry of anger resembles a cry of love, and vice versa. When she died, my grandmother's nerves shrieked and jumped towards me like fleas. My birthright is a painted doll and a stomach full of night crawlers. I shouldn't feel so unwelcome here. The world should see that I'm one of her own. And if I were to have a child, it would be only because I want to study the same person for 18 years. For I'm never able to get to know someone before they get up and interrupt my note-taking. But without notes, I would forget these words and would have to shriek and howl in my fur, and then the peacemakers would approach me. Thank you.